Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I am Natasha Marcus, North Carolina State Senator and the Democratic nominee for North Carolina Commissioner of Insurance. Today marks a historic moment, not because of what is about to happen in this building behind us today, later this morning, but because of what Insurance Commissioner Mike Causey has failed to do for the past 8 years. North Carolina law gives the Commissioner authority to hold public hearings when insurance companies, through the Rate Bureau, ask for a rate increase. The statutes expect that the Commissioner will use that authority to ensure that rates don't increase unless they are justified. And every Commissioner since 1977 has conducted public hearings on proposed homeowners rate hikes except for one, Mike Causey. Instead of standing up for consumers and being transparent about his decisions to raise our rates, he instead has met privately with insurance companies, approving 16 rate hikes in a row behind closed doors. He's essentially told us all to simply trust that he has made us a good deal. He doesn't think we deserve to see the data or know his reasons for allowing our insurance bills to skyrocket. Mike Causey has already approved 3 homeowners insurance rates, and today's hearing is about what will be the 4th. His predecessor allowed only 1 homeowners insurance increase in the same number of years, and he held a public hearing before he did so. So, the public hearing is finally happening today. Why? Because Mike Causey has been under fire for his lack of accountability and transparency. I have been sounding the alarm about Commissioner Causey's lack of transparency for months, raising awareness about how he has used this office to help his friends, his political cronies, and yes, the insurance companies and their profits, all to the detriment of North Carolinians and our wallets. I have criticized his failure to hold a single public hearing on a rate increase in the entire 8 years he's been in office. And now, less than a month before Election Day, he's finally called a public hearing, his very first one. Should we give him a gold star for finally stepping up to do his job? Well, no. Why? Because although this is a step in the right direction, surprise, Mike Causey won't be presiding over this hearing, as previous commissioners of insurance, Wayne Goodwin and Jim Long, did in the 32 years when they jointly were insurance commissioner. Instead, Mike Causey is relying on a staff person to do his job for him. It's a ridiculous dereliction of one of the most important duties of his office. He is the elected commissioner of insurance, and this is the job he was elected and paid to do. Why isn't he doing his job? So after 8 years of not holding hearings, we now must hope that the staff person that he has handed this hearing over to will finally require that insurance companies justify their rate increases with data presented in public, under oath, and subject to cross-examination. It's interesting to note how Commissioner Causey has timed this hearing today to his maximum political benefit. He's made it very close to Election Day for the obvious political reasons. He has 45 days after the hearing concludes to decide what our new homeowners insurance rates will be. So by delaying the start of the hearing until October 7th, knowing that it will last weeks, he knows that he won't have to make a decision on the rate hike request until after the election is over. Voters won't get a chance to weigh in and hold him accountable about how he did his job. And just like the last 3 times, this is the same. When those times he raised our homeowners rates, he said he'd hold a public hearing, he canceled the hearing at the last minute and agreed to raise rates after, giving voters no way to hold him accountable. He's hoping today that voters will be fooled by this apparent transparency. But you shouldn't be fooled. He's hoping that voters won't remember that he's already accepted more than $250,000 for his campaigns from insurance industry sources. He's hoping voters will forget that he was caught paying a buddy of his $84,000 a year to be his private chauffeur, and that he has used taxpayer money to pay political cronies to be in key positions at the Department of Insurance for which they were not qualified and or were not expected to do any actual work. Causey hopes that voters won't notice that while he's been avoiding public hearings and allowing rates to skyrocket, he's neglected consumer services that North Carolinians rely on, especially the folks in Western North Carolina who are going to need an advocate in this role as they do battle with their insurance companies trying to get their claims paid after Helene. And he's also hoping that voters won't notice that he's allowed insurance companies to rake in huge profits on the backs of hardworking North Carolinians by allowing higher and higher rates and by enabling and embracing the consent to rate loophole by which insurance companies can charge consumers up to 250% above the maximum rate allowed by North Carolina law. Our state deserves better than this. We need a commissioner who will fight for the people, not cave to insurance industry interests. If the people elect me as the next North Carolina Commissioner of Insurance, I will hold public hearings when increases like this are requested and ensure that the data is thoroughly cross-examined in public view. North Carolinians will then have an insurance commissioner who works for them transparently, not just when under pressure during campaign season, a month before an election. And they'll have an insurance commissioner who is qualified and ready to do the job, presiding over the public hearing myself, not stepping aside to let a staff person do the job. I'll put an end to these closed-door deals that have raised rates time and time again, and I'll tackle the consent to rate loophole that is rampant in North Carolina, squeezing the wallets of so many people here in our state. So now that we are set to begin the first public hearing in 8 years Mike Causey's ever held, he does not get a gold star today because he's only having this hearing for the appearance of transparency, because the pressure's on and the election is near, and he's not even holding it himself. He's having a staff person do his job. We can do better, and when I defeat him in November, we will do better.